Hi everybody, this is Caitlin here, aka Scribble Sketch, and we are back once again with another vlog type video here. You might have noticed that I've had a little bit of a change here. I've got a new colour on my head now. Before it was kind of lighter blue, kind of like in the background here, but now I've kind of gone for like a greeny kind of turquoisey colour, but I really quite like. I think it's quite snazzy and I quite like it in the bright light and everything. But this video isn't about my rather new hair colour. This video is about another one of my video game collections. And this one is pretty much the biggest collection that I've got out of like all the kind of systems that I own and everything. It is my PS4 games collection. Now, I've kind of separated it into two piles because I don't want this video to be like an hour long, because if I had to give like an in-depth description of every single game that I own, we'd be here for a pretty long time, and you guys probably aren't too interested in that. You're probably more interested in just like what catalogue of games that I currently own right now. So I've kind of divvied them up into two piles, one being games I've actually played and I'm actually playing right now, also including ones I've completed, and then ones that I've basically just installed but haven't actually had the chance to play yet. So let us start with the pile of games which I love quite a lot, I've actually played, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about them. So first up, I thought I would do these ones at the same time because they are from the same franchise. We have Persona 5 and Persona 5/3 Dancing in Starlight, Dancing in Moonlight. Basically, I have the Take Your Heart edition, which you can see in the background here on my Persona shrine. So I got the steel book with my Persona 5 edition. Literally, I have played this game so many times. I don't know how many runs I'm on right now. I think I'm on my 5th run of the game. I adore it to pieces, and I've made so many friends thanks to the Persona series. And Persona 5 is one that I adore so much. I don't know whether I love it more than 4. 4 it holds a special place in my heart because it was my very first Persona game, although Persona 5 is maybe like a close second in terms of me adoring Persona games. And this kind of ties into the dancing game for Persona 5 and 3. This one is actually really special because it's actually signed by Robbie Damon, aka Akechi. I got it signed by him at CupuCon. That was at the start of the year there. He signed my dancing edition because I was going to get him to sign the steelbook, but then I was thinking, I don't know whether the pen would stay very well on the steelbook or whatever. I didn't want it to rub off. So that's why I got him to sign the dancing game anyway, and yeah, it's still holding up. The signature is still pretty much there. So yeah, those are those two games there that I love, obviously from the Persona series. Next up, I thought I'd do these three at once since, again, they are all from the same series. We have a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games. We obviously have the latest one that came out, Kingdom Hearts 3. We have the Fragmentary Passage kind of collection. And then we also have the HD 1.5 and 2.5 edition, which is actually signed. I don't know if you can really tell there because it's a little bit dusty there at the front, but it is actually signed by Quentin Flynn, aka Axel, who I also met at CupuCon, and he signed it as well. I am currently playing through, if I can find it here. Here it is. I'm currently playing through Kingdom Hearts 3. At the time of me recording this, I have just finished the Big Hero 6 world, moving on to kind of the final parts of the game and everything, so I am really excited and whatnot to finally like finish this like saga of games and see where it goes afterwards and everything. But yeah, basically I've managed to get all parts of the collection pretty much on all different kind of discs and whatnot. I know there was an edition, a special edition that came out that had basically everything, including the Fragmentary Passage stuff and everything, but I quite like the different covers and things, so I'm kind of happy having all 3 games as they are. So yeah, these are my These two are kind of in the same vein here. We have the Crash Remake Trilogy, oh, wrong way around. We have the Crash Remake Trilogy, and we have the Spyro Remake Trilogy. Again, these are ones that I played during my childhood, specifically more Spyro than Crash. I played a lot during my childhood and whatnot, especially in like kind of hard times, whatever, that I used to go through. There was a period in my life, roughly when I was like about, I think I was about 8 years old, I think, where I hit a really rough patch in my life as a kid growing up. And basically, I can't really divulge too much of what went on because, you know, it's a bit too personal for me to share. But Spyro and Crash certainly helped me get through that really tough time in my life when I was really young. And they were basically the first kind of PlayStation games I ever played. So getting the remakes was something that I really wanted to do and play, and I adore these games. And these remakes still hold up pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with them. I would say that Crash obviously felt a lot harder than it used to back in the day. But yeah, I got these 2 games obviously as part of my collection, and I'll need to probably maybe get the older ones again on original PS1 because I've been hunting them down, and I'm trying to still find them for like a really good cheap price or whatever. I would still like to pick up the original If you like turn-based games, RPGs and whatnot, Digimon I can highly recommend. These are the Cyber Sleuth series. So you have the original Cyber Sleuth, and then you have the sequel, kind of, not really sequel, it's more like a mid-equal or something like that, the Hacker's Memory. These games kind of take place at the same time. This is the main story, and this is the game that came out after, which kind of runs alongside the main story, but it's kind of like its own story in of itself. If you love the Digimon series and you're like a big fan of turn-based RPGs, I heavily recommend these games for you. The only issue I would say is they don't come with an English dub. It is Japanese audio only, so be prepared to do a lot of reading and whatnot and listening to Japanese voices. I'm fine with that personally because I've played a lot of games where they don't have an English like dub option, which is totally fine, and I don't remember many games from the Digimon like gaming series that came with an English dub, except for 1 or 2 random games. But yeah, these ones are pretty awesome RPGs. Be prepared to spend a lot of time with them, because I think in my original run of Cyber Sleuth I put in like maybe 160 hours, maybe nearly 180 hours, nearly as much time as I spent on my first run through of Persona 5. But these games are amazing. I would highly recommend it for anyone who's looking for a good kind of turn-based RPG, or if you're just a big massive fan of Digimon. And then probably the next game is one that will probably maybe tied with Persona for one of the ones I've spent the most amount of hours on my PS4, Dead by Daylight. Now, this originally came out on Steam, on the PC obviously, before eventually coming over to consoles. I've played both the PS4 version and the PC version, and I have to say I kind of have a preference kind of for the PS4 version, mainly because I'm used to more playing with a controller than with a PC. I am quite considering getting like a controller for my PC so that I can maybe during the PTBs, like when they do test builds and stuff like that aren't available on console, so I can play it on my computer, because I've tried it with the keyboard controls and everything, and literally my hands are that tiny even after remapping all of the keys and stuff so that they're closer together so my tiny hands can stretch out and reach the keys. It's still a bit of a struggle, so I do kind of prefer the console version, even if lobbies and servers are a bit laggy, a bit too glitchy at times, and obviously in terms of updates they take a bit longer to do. We don't get things as instantaneously as the PC version does, and we're kind of waiting on like DLC and stuff a bit longer than the PC. But I still enjoy this game. I recorded a bunch of content for it on the channel, so if you're interested in seeing any videos of mine from the series, be sure to check the playlist or whatever on my channel. You can check them out and see me screaming my head off at this game. And last but not least, for games that I've actually played on my PS4, we have Overwatch. Now, I don't really play this as much anymore. When it first came out, I was playing this a lot. I'm not very good at shooter games, I will admit that to myself. I am probably terrible to have on your team in Overwatch, because I'm just terrible at aiming, I'm terrible at being like quick reactions and everything, in terms of like shooting environments and stuff like that. So this is as close to like a shooting game as I would ever get. I don't play this much anymore, just like casually, and I'm kind of more interested in story-driven games and whatnot, so that's kind of why I've not really been playing Overwatch. I kind of only log in to play the events that go on, and that's basically it. Like, I don't do competitive or anything like that. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. I literally just like log on, do events with my friends and everything, and that's about it. I mean, I still like the Overwatch lore and the characters and everything, but since it's not as heavy a story-driven game, it's not as like high on my priority to play. But I still own it, and I mean, I got this for like £5 when it came, like a little while after it came out, so I'm not too fussed about me not playing it too much. But yeah, I have Overwatch for the PS4. And now we're getting to the games where I have basically installed them onto my PS4, but have not actually had the chance to play them yet. I have a massive backlog of games, guys, which once I show you the pile here, you'll probably be maybe a little bit shocked, but I feel like maybe some people can relate in that they have a huge massive backlog of games that they do intend to play at some point, but because of like new releases and stuff, they just haven't. So let me just lift it up so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. So this is also not including digital games that I actually have on like PSN and stuff. So these are all the games, if I can hold it up correctly without dropping it, all the games whatever that I have that I've basically all installed but I've not actually played yet. So I will just rapid fire through these as quick as I can, because I don't want to take up too much time giving them all like their own segment that I did with those games, because I don't have as personal attachment to these ones yet, but I feel like I am going to eventually get personal attachment. So starting off, Detroit Become Human. I saw all the memes, I saw all the like kind of hype for it. I picked it up fairly cheap because I have a Game Elite membership, which I got this game for like £10 thanks to that. So basically I picked it up. I did plan on playing it at some point. The same to be said for all the things on this pile or whatever. We have Atelier Sophie and Atelier Lady and Swell. I am missing the middle part of this trilogy specifically. I'm waiting to pick up the middle game, which is Atelier Fierce, before I marathon through these games. I love the Atelier series, and I'm very excited to finally play these PS4 games, since there is going to be a new Atelier game coming out, I think sometime this year, but I'm thinking of picking up for the Switch rather than for PS4, just because I would love to maybe get like the new trilogy or whatever the new kind of series of games is on my Switch, so I can play them a bit more, because I feel like I have more time to play Switch games because I can take it wherever I go. But yeah, I have these two games, and obviously I did the unboxing of the special edition for this one last year or whatever, so you can check that out on the channel as well. Next up we have Final Fantasy 15. I know, shocker, I've not played this yet. I'm terrible for not having played this yet, despite how popular it is, how hyped it is and everything. I did have the intention to try and marathon it before KuboCon, but that didn't happen. I managed to install it, and that was basically it, because the game took so long to install, with all the updates and everything like that. It literally took me maybe 2 days to install, and that was with my really bad internet and everything. Like, it took me so long to actually install this game. So I will eventually play it. I want to maybe try and play this after Kingdom Hearts 3, if I can. I would love to do that. Next up we have Vampire. Honestly, God, the only reason I really picked this up is because, one, it was cheap. I got it in like the Boxing Day sales for like, I think it was £15, and then also because the guy on the front cover reminds me a lot of David King from Dead by Daylight, so that was another reason why I picked it up. Also, it's like a game set in London with vampires, so like, I'm probably quite interested, because I was kind of interested in, what was it called, Bloodlines, the Vampire Masquerade, the kind of like not RPG, but the kind of game where you made your own vampire and you played as them and whatever, and there was like morality systems and stuff, so I will eventually play this as well. Not quite sure when, but you know. I also have Until Dawn, which is weird because I basically know every single scenario that happens in this game. I've just yet to play it because I've watched so many YouTubers play this game when it first came out. I ended up getting this for Christmas very cheap because my dad was asking me one year, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, a game. But I didn't want to ask him for like a brand new game because that would be like 50 quid. And I was like, I don't want to do that to my dad because I'm at that age now where I don't really want big presents or whatever. You know, I'm just happy with one or two little things. And I saw that game had Until Dawn for like literally like £8. And I was like, just get me this game. Don't get it new, get it pre-owned. And I'm happy with that. So yeah, I'm maybe thinking of maybe live streaming this at some point, maybe in the future if I can get some free time or whatever, even though probably everyone knows exactly what happens in this game, but I think it would be fun to live stream it. We have Tales of Zestiria, if I can say it correctly. Again, I got this one pretty cheap, one of the ones I managed to pick up quite cheaply. The majority of these games you'll see, I got them like on Boxing Day or through deals and everything, so that's why I kind of afforded them while they were cheap. I have installed this, and I do plan on playing it. There's a friend of mine I have, Cami. She adores this game, and she knows that I've installed it, but that I haven't played it because I'm friends with her on PS4, and she can see that I've installed it, but she knows that I've not played it yet because I've got like 0 progress on the game, which is quite funny. But I do plan on playing this eventually because I do love the Tales of series. I also have Final Fantasy X. Whatever you want to call that, X2. Again, I've installed this. I do plan on playing it eventually, because I want to play more Final Fantasy games, because I've not really been exposed too much to Final Fantasy. I've never really properly played any of them. I've like watched like my friend play Final Fantasy 7, and that's about it. Like all of my other like references of characters come from the internet and internet culture. But I do plan on eventually going through and playing the majority of the Final Fantasy series. I know I'm very, very behind in all these ones, but guys, I promise I will eventually get to it. There's just not enough hours in the day for me to play all these games. Next up we have Odin Sphere. I'm not sure how you meant to say the last bit. Leftdrasir? I'm not sure how you meant to say that. Picked this up again very cheap on Boxing Day. It was pretty cheap. There was also the special edition that came with like an art book and like a t-shirt and everything like that, but since I didn't exactly know how the game played, I know it's like some kind of RPG style game, maybe a slasher or whatever, but I didn't want to pick up the special edition just in case I didn't like it and I wanted to trade it back in. But then if I got it with a t-shirt, I couldn't exactly just trade in the t-shirt because that would be a bit weird. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to eventually get around to this. It's kind of lower on my list of priorities right now, but it is on the list of things to play eventually when I get through my huge back catalogue. Cami, I've owned this game on like several different consoles. Like I owned it on Nintendo Wii. I'm pretty sure I also nearly bought it for my, was it the Wii U? I don't think it came out for Wii U. I'm pretty sure I've been tempted to get it for Switch as well, but I also now own it for PS4 because again this was pretty cheap in Boxing Day sales, which the majority of my games are. because I don't like to I very rarely buy a lot of games on release unless I am specifically really hyped for it. Otherwise, I'm happy to wait on like the majority of these games I got fairly cheaply, because people complain how expensive games are when they come out. But if you're willing to bide your time and whatnot, then you can get them pretty cheap. So yeah, I'm happy to replay Okami again because I love the Wii version, even if it was a little bit janky with like the kind of like motion controls and stuff. But yeah, I love the Okami game. I've not actually played Okami Den, which is like the sequel kind of for DS, or was it 3DS? I can't remember. I might need to pick that up at some point and see if it was any good. I never actually played it. These two actually are games I didn't buy. These were Christmas presents actually from my mum, which was a SingStar Ultimate Partner, and now that's what I call Sing. These were specifically bought by my mum because she wanted karaoke for Christmas, but she didn't want to buy a karaoke machine. And she figured out that you could actually get games which were basically karaoke games for the PS4. So I had to bring my PS4 into the living room and let people play karaoke on my PS4 one specific Christmas day. And I did also have to tell her that you couldn't just play any music on it, you had to like purchase a lot of the songs individually and whatnot, because not all the music that was available came with the game. So yeah, that caused a couple of arguments and whatnot over which songs we actually bought, because my mum didn't want to spend so much money on music and whatnot after she'd already bought me these games. But yeah, that's really the only reason why I own these, is that they were gifts from my mum, and I don't have the heart to trade them in case she ever actually does randomly want to play karaoke again. Play karaoke, do karaoke. Next up, nearing the end now, we have Akiba's Beat, which is the kind of, I believe it's the sequel, or maybe it's the spin-off game to Akiba's Strip. Again, I picked this up pretty cheaply rather because again, it was on sale, and this is the edition that comes with like the soundtrack, and I believe it comes with I think it comes with an art book as well. I'm not too sure, but I think it comes with an art book as well. It's been a while since I opened it up, or whatever, but yeah, I am still playing through Akiba's Strip. I have it on my PS Vita, so I'm still playing that right now, so I'm going to wait until I finish that before I actually get down to playing this. I'm not quite sure if this is like a direct sequel to the game, or if it's just this kind of, you know, a dancing spin-off, because like there's so many dancing spin-offs nowadays. But yeah, this one is actually pretty good. I do like the soundtrack of the first game so far. It is pretty funky, so I am kind of excited to eventually play this one. And then last but not least, in terms of my physical games, we have Shantae, the HalfGenie hero. Fun fact, I actually backed this game way back when it was first on Kickstarter and whatnot. And I got the Steam version when I like chose which version I wanted in terms of my reward. So I do have it on Steam as well, but I've not actually installed it yet, I think. But I also saw that this was pretty cheap in the Ultimate Edition for PS4. I got this for like a tenner as well, so I actually wanted to pick it up and play it for PS4 as well, because I do like Shantae. I love the designs of all the characters and everything. The music is fantastic. I do love the series, and yeah, maybe hopefully sometime soon I will get to play it. I say soon. I have so many games in this backlog. I mean, you saw that pile of games that I have to play, so I'm not quite sure what priority is for playing these games, but I guess we'll get around to them eventually. And yeah, guys, that is pretty much all of my PS4 games. I was going to lump in my PS Vita games, but then at the same time I was like, I don't want to really lump them in, because I also have a kind of, not a significant pile, but like a pretty decent chunk of PS Vita games, so I didn't want to lump them in here. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know if there's any games in my collection that you have in yours. Also, be sure to recommend me some PS4 games, because I'm always looking for titles to pick up eventually whenever I'm like wanting to add more to my backlog and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for some more content, and I will see all of you guys later. This video was made possible thanks to patrons such as Craig McCutcheon and Neko-Senpai.